Doctor, could you explain meiosis and why it is important?
Of course. Meiosis is a type of cell division that reduces the chromosome number by half, producing 4 genetically distinct haploid cells from a single diploid cell. It's essential for the production of gametes, sperm in males and eggs in females, and ensures the maintenance of a consistent chromosome number in somatic cells across generations. This process also introduces genetic diversity through recombination and random segregation of chromosomes, which is crucial for the survival and evolution of species.
How does meiosis proceed?
Meiosis consists of 2 stages, the first meiotic division, or reductional division, and the second meiotic division, which is similar to mitosis. First meiotic division. Prophase I. Chromosomes condense and pair up into homologous pairs, forming bivalents. Crossing over occurs where segments of non-sister chromatids exchange genetic material at points called chiasmata. This increases genetic variability. The homologous chromosomes are linked by the synaptonemal complex, ensuring proper alignment. Metaphase I. Bivalents align at the cell's equatorial plane. Each homologous chromosome is oriented toward opposite poles. Anaphase I. Homologous chromosomes are pulled to opposite poles, reducing the chromosome number by half. Each resulting cell is haploid but contains chromosomes with 2 chromatids. Telophase I. The cell divides, producing 2 haploid daughter cells, each with duplicated chromosomes. Second meiotic division. This stage resembles mitosis, but starts with haploid cells. Prophase II. Chromosomes condense, and the nuclear membrane dissolves. Metaphase II. Chromosomes align at the equatorial plane. Anaphase II. Sister chromatids separate and move to opposite poles, forming monads. Telophase II. For haploid cells with single chromatids are produced.
That's fascinating. Can you elaborate on gametogenesis in males and females?
Absolutely. Gametogenesis refers to the process of gamete formation. In males, it is called spermatogenesis, and in females, oogenesis. Spermatogenesis. It occurs in the testes and begins at puberty, continuing throughout a man's life. The process starts with spermatogonia, which undergo mitosis to form primary spermatocytes. Through 2 rounds of meiosis, these produce 4 spermatids, which mature into sperm cells in about 72 days. Each sperm consists of a head, containing genetic material, and a tail, for mobility. Sertoli cells provide structural support and nourishment during this process.
How is oogenesis different?
Oogenesis begins during fetal development and progresses in stages throughout a woman's reproductive life. Prenatal stage. Oogonia undergo mitosis to form primary oocytes, which are arrested in prophase I before birth. Postnatal stage. At puberty, during each menstrual cycle, 1 primary oocyte resumes meiosis, completing the first division to form a secondary oocyte and a polar body. The secondary oocyte begins meiosis too, but halts in metaphase II until fertilization. Ovulation and fertilization. If fertilization occurs, the secondary oocyte completes meiosis too, forming a mature ovum and another polar body. If unfertilized, the oocyte degenerates.
What are the main differences between spermatogenesis and oogenesis?
Great question. Spermatogenesis begins at puberty and continues for life, producing millions of sperm daily, whereas oogenesis starts before birth, with a limited number of oocytes maturing during a woman's reproductive years. Each primary spermatocyte produces 4 sperm cells, but a primary oocyte yields only 1 mature ovum and 3 polar bodies. Oogenesis has long resting phases, while spermatogenesis is continuous after it starts.
Are there any challenges or issues related to these processes?
Yes. For example, in oogenesis, the long dormancy of primary oocytes increases the risk of chromosomal abnormalities like Down syndrome in older mothers. In spermatogenesis, environmental factors like high temperatures or toxins can reduce sperm count or quality. Understanding these processes helps us grasp not only human reproduction, but also the genetic principles underlying inheritance. Let me know if you'd like to dive deeper into any specific aspect.
You mentioned crossing over earlier. Could you explain its significance in more detail?
Certainly. Crossing over is a critical process in prophase I of meiosis where segments of non-sister chromatids exchange genetic material. This occurs at points called chiasmata and results in recombinant chromosomes, which carry genetic information from both parents. The significance of crossing over lies in the increased genetic diversity it provides. This variation enhances the ability of populations to adapt to changing environments and resist diseases. However, errors in crossing over can lead to chromosomal mutations, such as deletions, duplications, or translocations, which may cause genetic disorders.
That's fascinating. What about the hormones that regulate gametogenesis?
Hormones play an essential role in controlling gametogenesis. In males, the hypothalamus releases gonadotropin-releasing hormone, GnRH, stimulating the pituitary gland to secrete luteinizing hormone, LH, and follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH. LH stimulates Leydig cells to produce testosterone, necessary for spermatogenesis. FSH acts on Sertoli cells to support sperm development. In females, GnRH also triggers the release of LH and FSH. FSH promotes the growth of ovarian follicles, each containing a primary oocyte. LH surge induces ovulation, releasing the secondary oocyte. After ovulation, the ruptured follicle forms the corpus luteum, which secretes progesterone to prepare the uterus for implantation.
How does meiosis ensure genetic consistency across generations?
Meiosis ensures that gametes carry half the chromosome number of somatic cells, maintaining the species' diploid chromosome count upon fertilization. Additionally, the random segregation of chromosomes and crossing over create unique genetic combinations in each gamete, preventing genetic monotony.
Can you clarify what happens if meiosis goes wrong?
Errors in meiosis, called non-disjunction, can result in gametes with abnormal chromosome numbers. If such gametes participate in fertilization, it may lead to conditions like Down syndrome, trisomy 21, where there's an extra chromosome 21. Turner syndrome, monosomy X, where females have only one X chromosome. Klinefelter syndrome, XXY, where males have an additional X chromosome. Such errors emphasize the precision required in meiosis for normal development.
Does gametogenesis differ in other species compared to humans?
Yes, there are variations in gametogenesis across species. For instance, in many plants, gametogenesis includes an additional step called double fertilization. Some animals, like amphibians, produce vast quantities of eggs, while mammals typically produce a single egg per cycle. These adaptations align with each species' reproductive strategies and ecological niches.
That's incredible. Are there any practical applications of this knowledge in medicine or research?
Absolutely. Understanding meiosis and gametogenesis has applications in fertility treatments. Techniques like in vitro fertilization, IVF, rely on insights into gamete formation. Genetic counseling, identifying risks of chromosomal abnormalities, helps prospective parents make informed decisions. Cancer research, abnormal cell division, akin to meiosis gone awry, provides clues for developing treatments. This knowledge is also pivotal in studying evolutionary biology and developing advanced reproductive technologies.
Thank you for listening. If our podcast has been valuable to you, we would greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a 5-star rating and write a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or subscribe, like, and share on our YouTube channel. Your support helps us greatly with discoverability. We hope to see you soon.